So I just had a police helicopter just outside my... I'm not saying it's for anything, but it's my mental health. I found out that as I was walking home, one of the people thought, somebody I knew thought that who looks after people with mental health. I wasn't under, I was once, but not under anymore. She was saying to her husband, "Oh, I hope that's not one of mine," meaning she loves everybody, but she didn't want it to be especially someone she knows. And she got in touch with me to see if I was okay, and I was saying, not really. And she said, "Oh, well, I spoke about it," and I'm like, "Well, what time were you going past North Bridge? This was 4 o'clock in the morning." So, "Oh, no, that wasn't you then, no. So there's a different time. So earlier, somebody had tried to, or may have, jumped. I don't know if they did or not. And I do things on impulse, spiritual impulse. And I knew I had to go into town. I hate town. I always end up drinking on my own because no one wants to talk to me. But I brought, I actually said, walking down, to anybody that has thrown themselves off this bridge or have died in some mysterious, strange way, and you are lost and still wandering, you are very welcome to join me. And that's probably why no one sits with me, because I've got probably a full pub around me. Anyway, so I was walking home and I was doing a blessing, and I didn't even get to the point where I knew there's a point where on North Bridge, if you go, even spirit won't be able to collect you. So I really don't want to think about where it goes, but it will follow the flow of the water. And that's very, very sad, because that's not just you ending this life. That's affecting a lot of your other lives that are either to be or to come. Because I don't know where that water will end up going. Goes into the hill, and I know there are really deep spots and places around here. So I did want to go down and finish off the ceremony, but I didn't. I still want to know what happened, so I I phoned the hospital that detained me and asked them, meaning their doctors, to do all the work of getting the CCTV coverage, not just... And they did say, "Oh, we can't..." I know, stop, wait, before you it's telling me, let me finish. And I said, right, there is CCTV on North Bridge. There always will be, because of people who are jumping. I don't think... I wasn't going to jump. Let me just put that fact. I've got too much in my head. All right, it might be in this all over. So maybe these doctors can help me sort of work this out under some sort of cognitive therapy, and keeping you in touch, and maybe even being allowed to bring you in, because I have nobody at all that I can bring down with me. So we'll see. I say that I'm the only sane one in this world, which means probably I am mad as a hatter. Yes, I am tired because I'm physically and mentally drained. And I watched a lady on live last night, Gina. Shout out to Gina. She watches. I can't remember her second name. She sees it. She sees what's going on. She's got good technology, and she picks out things that she sees in the clouds, and she picks up things psychically. And so it is hard when you start becoming aware. I used to think woke, but I don't like that word now. I'd say, oh, you're woke, but that was a different meaning in my day. It meant like an awareness. A lot of people are becoming more aware because there has been an energy that has suppressed a lot of people. And I'm sorry, you might not agree with this. There is, I believe, a reptilian agenda. A small population that have been able to mask themselves all through time, right up to present. And it used to be in the police force, the bold men. I could see the ears disappearing, I could see them almost changing. And that's fine, that's their choice. That's the way life seems to be and society is. But I think everybody should be themselves. You shouldn't have to be able to put a hologram around you or put the hologram around others, because they've got to remember that other people can see them. I saw some if I'd have shouted out, "I'll be your reptilian person," because one of them was definitely, and it was different this time. All of them were women. In fact, well, I didn't sense the man. I didn't have male energy. And there's one little, you wouldn't even think she was a police officer. One tied back hair. She was the one that was doing most of the watching, in the hospital. How many were there in the hospital? It's hard to tell because I knew there was 2 outside, because when I kept asking for water, and they were giving it me begrudgingly, and they were always in a little white cup, and I'd been drinking 3 Jack Daniels and Cokes that were doubles, so I wanted to flush it out of my system as quick as I could, to get home as quick as I could, but that didn't work. That was too sensible, wasn't it? So every time I asked for water, I'd drink it and say, "Can I have some more water, please?" So they'd have to go and get it, and you could see that they were getting annoyed. And I'm like, I haven't even said this is going to help me. Why? But they did, they kept bringing me the water. So it was like pass the parcel. You'd see this, I could see this one hand pass it to the lady outside. And they were the police. I could see it was a police officer. And then they'd hand it to this little girl that was with the pin-back hair that really looked unnerved. And then they would pass it. She would come in and pass it to the person the police officer on the left. It's getting better. I'm describing it as I'm talking, and that's a good feeling, because I'm using it. I'm walking around like this. Oh, well, let me see if I can show you. I'm walking around like this. Okay, like that, you can't show you properly. So it's a constant reminder as well. And my mind is like, especially when the police helicopter was outside, I did a horrible thing. Pulled a moaning at it. That means I'm probably going to end up in prison. Oh, dear. I pulled the mooney on my doorstep, literally here. I had my dressing gown on. I could sense it watching me as well as I could tell it was watching me. I did some signs that probably matched my thoughts now to the police constabulary. Just started to get a little... This happened once before when the police tried to... when they were warning me about talking about the reptilians. Because it was... I'm not against it. I'm not against any race. I work with all races and all beings. So I'm not against the reptilians, but when they start to get like this, they've got to be careful. I've got the blooming Inky. They're reptilian... Among others, I don't hold... I'm the same as with... I'm the same... How can I put it? I don't care what species you are. I'm friends with the fungus, because I believe that Beacon Hill has the largest underground brain fungus, and it talks. And I also know that Beacon Hill's probably got the largest ant colony, and I know where they like to breed, and I help put the stones there, so they're like solar little powers, little things. So I'm friends with the, and then these go back to the little brains of who controls each other. I'm friends with the crows. Friends with the do you know what? It's sad when I become friends with the sheep and the cows that end up there, because they're not milking farm or wool. You know where they'll end up. There's always one called 234 as well, so strangely. And obviously it's a meat product. But while they're there, I make them welcome and they're happy. Who won't be happy on that hillside? I think they're blaming me for not having them there now because of my stone stacks. Now, nobody talks to me about what I'm doing. Them stone stacks which are on that hill up there, I've seen two, in my lifetime alone, I've seen two tractors go over there. One was a farmer's lad, and I don't know who the other one was. And then in a meditation, I saw coach and horses used to go down there, and that was a spot that many lost their life just by stupidity from the driver. But then I can imagine that the horses would be spooked of what energy they're going through because they wouldn't have understood. Anyway, gosh, that was a long chat. It was only going to be a short. I'll keep you informed if I'm not incarcerated. If you haven't heard me for a long time, then I'm incarcerated.